Stop the cap.
I swear, like boomer mentality white men get in their own way. They get in their own way with their boomer mentality. And a lot of their belief system, and this is a very recent phenomenon, where minorities get weaponized and scapegoated when it comes to white people, where white people continuously think that they're the only hardworking Americans. And they're so blinded by their whiteness that they have no concept of class consciousness. If this was Europe, you know what I mean? There would have already been a whole bunch of elites with heads on sticks. Sitting on the London Bridge or some shit like that. That would have already happened. Half of London would have already been burnt down to the ground. But anyway, so I get a guy who writes a comment, and basically he's talking about that same old tired personal responsibility trope, and how if what's going on with young people, if they can't do X, Y, and Z, it's because they didn't do something like they didn't go to school, so therefore that's why they're not making any money. It's about decisions, that type of bullshit. First off, a lot of people went to school and they have nothing to show for it. The wisdom that they got to go to school and put themselves in copious amounts of debt was from the older generation. I don't understand where people have this idea that at the individual level there's a personal responsibility, and that anything that happens to you in the future is the result of your own individual choices, and you must suffer the consequences. But then when we get over to the concept of society, where you can't really pinpoint or point at any particular individual person, since society is like a greater structure and it's a collective thing, right? Even though I would definitely lay more of the responsibility at the older generations, because the older generations have been here, right? The older generations are the ones that set things up. And not only that, the older generations are the ones that had a longer time to change things that they didn't like, and they didn't do it. Okay? So the younger generations, like, again, you spend the first 18 years of your life, you have no say-so. You literally have no say-so for almost the first, what would that be? That wouldn't even be, what would that be? The first quarter of your life, you have no say-so almost, right? Technically speaking, it's not. I'm thinking like, okay, if the person lives anywhere from 80 to 100, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody's really living to 100, right? But and most people die before 70, so I guess it would be the first quarter of your life or so. But in any event, I'm saying, most people, they don't have a say until you get to the age of maturity. But the part that gets me is it's like, okay, if I'm in college and all I do in college is smoke and drink and party, and then I fail out of college, right? That's my fault, right? As an individual, right? That's I was partying, I wasn't studying, I wasn't passing my classes, so I failed out, right? That would be on me, correct? Okay, we got that? We understand that? Okay, boom. But when it comes to society, if the society, especially at the hands of the older people, is set up in a certain way where younger people can't be successful, then what are the consequences? The consequences are, typically, you're going to see people crash out or try to overthrow the system. Those are the consequences of the shit. But when it comes to you, like boomer talk white guys, you guys come with this, and I get it, right? Because you think because the shit worked for you, and most of the time these people are Gen Xers that I'm talking to, you think because it worked for you, right? And again, the strange thing is these are the bulls on parade people, right? These are the, cops, they want to steal my crops. These pigs want to blow my house down and underground to the next town, right? That's your generation. This is a Nirvana generation that's up here talking shit, which is hilarious. Even with the boomers, what the hell were they doing in 1969 at Woodstock? Like, the shit is just crazy. But anyway, I'm saying the consequences of having a broken society is people crashing the fuck out. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see people crashing out. You're going to see the destabilization of society. Again, I already told you all about this. The RCMP, and which is like the Canadian Royal Mounted Police, and the article that they put out where it was a report, but basically they were like, if young people ever discover that they're never going to be able to own property, it's societally destabilizing. You guys are running around talking about family value. How the fuck are you going to have family values when you don't have family formation, dickhead? How the fuck are you going to have family values and you don't have man, woman, and child living underneath one roof that they can actually afford? You're going to be outnumbered by single moms and a bunch of freaking, disenfranchised, despondent men. That's what you're going to be surrounded by. So you're only going to have a very small pool of Judeo-Christian, white Jesus-loving families, and then you're going to have a large pool of a bunch of single, angry men, with weapons, and a bunch of fucking baby moms, and no stability. That's what you're going to have, and you somehow think that you can have like 1 out of 5 people are nuclear families, and somehow you're still going to uphold nuclear family, Judeo-Christian. Get the fuck out of my face, man. You're way below critical mass at this point. And it's only projected to get worse. How the fuck do you, there's only 1 in 5 of you, and yet somehow you think that you're going to be able to uphold shit like it's the goddamn 1950? Bitch, get out my face, man. Get motherfucking carjacked, motherfucker. Get out my face, man. You guys are just talking just to hear yourself talk, and you think that you're like moral and righteous and just and everything. And again, you make it an individual thing because, again, you don't want it to cost you to actually fix the problem, because so much of the system would have to be fucking gutted. And you don't want that because you want your white privilege, and you want the idea that that everybody else is fucked up, has nothing to do with the way that the system was set up, that it all has to do with like white people's manifest destiny, and that you're going to be on top and everybody else they're going to have your heads on sticks. You stupid fuck. I mean, god damn, like, it's okay. Okay. Don't say anything when you got a fucking Glock in your face. Don't say nothing. Don't come crying to me. Don't come crying. Don't come crying when your neighborhoods start feeling less and less safe. Hey, don't come over here. Don't come bitching over here. You can personal responsibility it to death. When, the opportunities are abundant, when it's relatively easy. Like these people kill me where they make it like it's like you gotta have like 5 streams of income, and you gotta be have a PhD in economics in order to basically live a middle class lifestyle, right? To be like right in the middle. Like they make it like anybody who can't do that is an idiot. Like that was like the staple of America. Like you're supposed to be able, again, my bootstraps, my hard work, my grit, my dedication, and I should be able, right, to be stable, right? That's the idea. Now it's like, oh, well, I mean, if you can't play wizard chess, You know what I mean? If you can't play chess at a master level, oh, you don't even deserve to exist. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that one. I mean, this is literally what you all are pushing. And then you act like, well, anybody who can't be where I'm at, is a loser. Even though where you're at is largely predicated on the fact that you just so happen to be born at the right time. When you went to college was what, I don't know, $5,000, $8,000. When you bought a house, a house was $65,000. I'm talking about, the people who bought homes in like the early to mid 90s and shit. I don't know. I think it was that. I'm thinking 80s numbers probably. But let's just go with like $100,000. You could get into a house for like $100,000. Okay, you could start your family. Maybe you were the last group that had pensions. You know what I mean? So you had some sort of social safety net, right? That had more to do with you being born at the right time than it had to do with any decision that you fucking made. And the level of the lack of compassion is crazy. First off, the lack of compassion is going to have your heads on sticks. I'm like, keep fucking around, keep gaslighting. This is the same thing that the Democrats did. Oh, the economy is fine, and you see what happened to them. They lost everything. I'm like, okay, all right, keep fucking around. Again, see, I'm of the philosophy of 9 meals away from anarchy. I'm of the philosophy that most people try to be good-hearted people and they try to do the right thing. And that's only up until a certain point. It's only up until a certain point. When you start taking people's basic necessities away, that whole, the hierarchy of needs, when you start taking away food, shelter, stability, all that other shit, all of your white Jesus Christian principles and morality, that shit goes out the window. It goes right out the fucking window. And again, contrary to popular belief, white people are more savage with it than black people that are stuck in the inner city and in the ghetto and selling crack cocaine and all the other bullshit, or fentanyl now. Black people primarily do that shit out of fucking necessity. White people have a bunch of sociopaths in their fucking population. The white people got a bunch of Negans in their population. There's white people that would thrive in that type of environment and do all sorts of extra shit. I was watching Tucker Carlson talk about the cartels and talk about, oh, they're savage, and because they had the guy that talks about the border, talking about skinning people alive and shit like that. I've already seen what the Mexican cartels do, trying to incite fear and all that other bullshit, right? Horrific shit, demonic shit. But like Tucker Carlson chimed in like, oh, it's because they're from different cultures. I'm like, so say it the same people that enslaved African Americans and the horrors of slavery. Have you ever read like any of the diaries or any of the documentation of like how slaves were punished? You ever read that? Shit is horrific, right? There are a lot of things that are worse than death. Mind you, these are Tucker Carlson ignores the fact that he comes from the same group of people that had Salem witch trials. And these were Christians. It's amazing how white people sanitize their own savagery and their own history, but then when it comes to, they just gloss over it. But when it comes to everybody else, oh, they can identify, all the hedonistic tendencies of every other group, but not themselves. Because white people expect, oh, we're above that. We're above that. No. There's plenty of again, you all are the ones coming up with movies like The Purge, so that people can unleash, their savagery. Y'all come up with shit like that. Y'all fantasize about shit like that. zombies and shit. Oh, so that way you can find some reason to justify killing other human beings. Well, I mean, they're not alive, they're the undead, but they're still representative of human beings and you wanting to kill other human beings. That's what the whole zombie thing, the zombie ammo, you go to the gun store, they got zombie this, zombie that. Oh, they're fucking zombies. In real talk, the fantasy with white people is that, and what black people need to understand is, like, if shit actually hits the fan, black people are the zombies in that scenario. We saw this with Hurricane Katrina and the way that black people were shot at and killed in Hurricane Katrina when they were running around talking about it's pheasant season. These people are sociopaths. And yet, you have, like, again, they do it to themselves. This is why black people need to teach the truth about white people to each other. They need to teach their children the truth about white people. These people will cannibalize their own children. So, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say about it. Just the disconnect is just wild. There's something wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's Fox News, or like the conservative talking points, but these people are fanatical with their, I got mines. I thought black people were bad with that. But, white people, y'all on a different level with the I got mines. I don't know anybody's shit. And they do that shit to their own kids. Go to college. Get yourself in copious amounts of debt. Oh, by the way, here we have some AI, so we don't need you to do any of that work, but you're still on the hook for all that debt. Oh, and, we're going to have some hyperinflation and not do anything about that, and then we're going to have the housing prices just go crazy because everybody's equity in the homes, and then we're going to have private equity buy up all the property, but we're not going to build any more houses. But then we're going to turn around and we're going to bitch and cry about why young white people aren't having enough babies. Like, this shit is just again. And I'm gonna tell you what's so fucked up, because while the boomers and the Gen Xers think that they can just run around with like rhetoric and shit like that, I'm like, millennials and zillennials have way too much information in terms of knowing like who the older generations are, what they're really on, how much their talking points are not connected to reality, right? What the actual numbers are, right? Like the problem, I'll tell you the problem for most older people, period. Most older people's biggest problem is that they think about how much shit cost when they were in their prime, and they're stuck there. It's like how like older people, like when they look in the mirror, they don't recognize that they're old. Like they don't get it. Like people, it's like you're old now. You don't see the gray hairs, like you're old. And they don't see that. They still see themselves as that like 21-year-old. That's how they view themselves, right? They're still sexy. They're still in their prime. They're still desirable, right? That's how they see themselves. But that's not what other people see. And when it comes to their, what do you want to call it? The affordability, of their existence. It's always based off of, well, I mean, in 1985, I was renting an apartment for $126, and my car payment was $34, and, they start, this is how they view things. And then they look at their own kids like, I don't know why you're still living here. I'm like, rent is $2,000. Groceries, don't even get me started. Right? Then you have the student loans that the children have to pay back because they were encouraged to go to college to get a degree, right? In the appropriate field. I'm not talking about people who went to school for underwater basket weaving and shit like that. I'm talking about like real degrees, Like computer science was like, that was like a major thing. That was a major thing. You know, to have a computer science degree. That's hellified all type of math and logic gates and, you know what I mean? Just go and just watch any video on YouTube on JavaScript, HTML, C++, fucking whatever other programs that they have. You know what I mean? You know, go pull that shit up and see if that's some easy to understand shit. And it's just like, oh, well, I mean, we have AI and AI can do this. And so therefore we don't have to pay people and yada, yada, yada. Like capitalism is literally falling apart because it's runaway capitalism. It's Gilded Age capitalism. And you know what happens when you get Gilded Age levels of capitalism? You usually get a revolution. You usually get the institutions of society falling apart. And it starts at the family. Actually, no, it doesn't start at the family. It starts at men being gainfully employed. Once you fuck with men being gainfully employed and providing for families due to the hypergamous nature of women that hasn't changed, this, like, why does this society push like women and feminism and every other direction other than how women engage in mate selection? It makes no sense to do it that way. Right? Not that I want to see women, you know, date down and date hypogamously. I don't. I think that's like counter evolution. But at the same time, the society as a whole, right, would need to what? And this is what feminism doesn't want, to prioritize males. You can't date hypergamously if the collective, or at least some critical mass of men, are not collectively ahead of women. They got to be ahead of women in mass. That should be the priority of the state and the corporations that function within the state that want to have any sort of level of stability for the nation so that they can be a strong nation and counter or thwart the other nations, right, that are all, you know, patriarchy versus patriarchy, that are all fighting for power and dominance and position, right? Because that's just the reality of what the world is. You know, it's bacteria on a petri dish fighting for dominance. That's the reality of the world. I don't care how much white Jesus you want to sprinkle on it. Oh, the love of all mankind and everything else. You know, freaking reproduction is competition. And I'm saying, you know, you go from little tribes, then you go to city states, then you go to nation states, then you go to countries, right? It blows up bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? Now, some people want to say, you know, they want to get to a new world order and they want a one world government, blah, 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 whatever. I don't think that's going to happen until some aliens show up. But aside from that point, I'm saying you would, like, if we still live in this, nations are competing against each other, and you need strong men to basically either fight or defend. I'm like, why are you fucking with the dials when it comes to them? You're going to fuck it up so bad that you're going to, I mean, you not only are you going to create the, you know, dysfunctional males, you're going to create despondent, I don't care, you know, males. That's what you're going to care. That's what you're going to create. You're going to create crash outs. You're going to create deadbeats. You're going to create, you know, just like these, like, vagrants and shit. And again, I'm like, angry men can do a lot of damage. Oh, and especially angry white men with all of their glorious entitlement. Yeah, good luck with that shit. Good luck with that shit. You know, you about to see these white boys on some Viking shit. We was Vikings and shit. You about to see these white boys on some, you know, Gates of Valhalla type shit. A Morton Joe type shit. I'm like, okay. Everybody keep thinking I'm just talking bullshit. Everybody keep thinking, oh, that's not going to happen. That's preposterous. I'm like, yeah, okay, keep squeezing them. Keep squeezing them. You know, keep gaslighting them. Keep telling them it's all about personal responsibility. I'm like, okay, 9 meals away from anarchy. Keep doing it. That's all I gotta say. That's my video, SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.
Move. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Where you at?
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!